We have Shottie, man, the MC out of Miami. Shottie, what's going on, man?
What's good, man? How are you, bro?
Good, man. Good. Hey, I appreciate you giving me a few minutes of your time, man, to ask a few questions and learn more about you and what's going on down there in Miami.
No doubt. Let's get it.
Now, first, I want to ask you about H2O. Okay. Now, it seems like there's some sort of renaissance, man, going on in Miami with hip hop. Explain the relationship and how you met H2O and what's going on down there.
Yeah, shout out to H2O, man. Like I've called him this a few times on my podcast, Human Sushi. I label him a facilitator for the Miami hip hop scene because outside of being a dope MC, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like he puts most of his energy into putting on other MCs from the city. You know what I'm saying? So H is one of those like rare cats that I think puts kind of like the city and the hip hop scene in Miami even above his own art. And if you know H2O's music, like the dude is a formidable MC too. You know what I'm saying? So that's speaking a lot to his character and shit. So shout out to H2O, man. There definitely is I would say there is somewhat of a renaissance in Miami. But what's funny about it is that a lot of the cats that are making noise right now in Miami, like we've been doing it for a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? Like we've been doing it for a long, long time. So in a way it's a renaissance, but in another way it's like we've always been here. You know what I'm saying? But because of cats like H2O, now I think more people are starting to pay attention.
Okay. Now he's definitely doing a good job, man, of promoting real MCs, man, and real hip hop dudes from Miami. Now, how do you think it's changed? Now, you've been in it for a while, like you said. How do you think it's changed over the years, man? Because at one point, the sound was a little different, right? With Trick and those guys doing that sound, and a little bit of Pitbull when he first started off, right? Yeah. And Pitbull was kind of, I guess he was more kind of boom bap type of hip hop, I believe, when he first started. And then it kind of transitioned. What does it look like over the years, man? How what does it look like to you as far as the changes that have been made coming from Miami hip hop?
Miami, like I think most people outside of Miami, they think Trick Daddy, Rick Ross, and Pitbull, and that's definitely a large part of the fabric down here. But there's other pieces of the fabric that internationally, maybe a lot of people don't get to see. And Miami has a strong boom bap scene. You know what I'm saying? Like aside from myself, there's a whole bunch of other cats that are making real dope shit out here. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Agony. Shout out to Mowgli. I mean, there's like, I could just go on and on and on. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, to me, that's just we're all part of like the tapestry that makes up Miami. It's just most of the world, obviously gets to see the guys that have signed like the major label deals and shit like that. But man, we've been doing this lyrical fucking whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? We've been doing this shit here for a long time too, man.
Right. And you're right, man. It seems that, there are only a certain few people that kind of, have gotten that light, that shine from Miami. And knowing that there are different styles of hip hop coming from Miami, so you're absolutely right about that. I want to talk to you about the now you and TeV95 dropped a EP in September, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
It's part of a trilogy. It's a trilogy of EPs that we're doing. It's called Moskvitch. So we just dropped the second part. I think that's the one that you're referring to in September. The second part of it.
Right. So I think it's about seven tracks on the EP. The joint is fire too, man. Talk to me about, now we got a couple of singles. I think the one was Charged Up. I think we got on the site. There was another one, Kendall Drive. That joint is fire too. I think there might be another one. I can't think off the top of my head. So talk to me about the EP. How did that come together? You and TeV, how long you guys been working together?
I've been known Tev for like forever, you know what I'm saying? For like over 20 years and shit. And he and I have always like, these ain't our first projects. We've been doing a lot of projects inside of hip hop and outside of hip hop. We've also written film scripts and we published a comic book. I mean, we've done, he's a dope, like creative partner of mine. You know what I'm saying? We just like get together and make crazy shit. But the Moskvitch thing came about because it's kind of a funny story, but he came across a bunch of like Russian samples, like Soviet Cold War era fucking like samples and shit. And so we started just like putting together this, I don't want to say Russian theme, but all the beats come from like that origin, you know what I'm saying? So being that my first album that Tev and I did together was called DeLorean. This was back in 2012, which is, kind of like a rare American car. For our comeback, so to speak, in 2020, 2021, we went with Moskvitch, which is a rare Russian car, you know what I'm saying? Which is kind of rolling with that theme and shit.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the name, man. I kind of figured it was Russian, but had no idea of the background, on the title to the EP. So this, you said it's the second part of a trilogy. So you guys have been thinking about this title for a little while then, right? Because you've already dropped the first one. The second one dropped in September. And when is that third one going to drop?
Part 3 drops in January. We're actually putting, we're putting the garnish on it right now. You know what I'm saying? It's
okay.
Cooking. It's cooking. Yeah.
Okay. So January 2022, you dropped the trilogy. So that's going to be complete. What's happening after that? What do we look forward to from Shottie and 2022 and beyond?
2022, most definitely, we're putting together the three EPs. We're putting them together into one LP, and we're going to drop the vinyl. So that's like, that was always kind of the vision from the start. Like the music has such a, warm, analog, vintage kind of sound that we felt like it had to, it plays perfect for vinyl. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big goal that we have for 2022. You could expect a bunch of, Shottie and Tev singles next year. But I'm also doing a project with my man Agony. Shout out to Agony. He's another dope MC out of the crib. We basically have that project like 75% completed. And you're gonna hear a lot of shit from me next year, man. Like we're really just getting started. You know what I'm saying? Moskvitch was the thing that we're using to kind of kick off the whole situation. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, we've heard some of Agony stuff as well, man. Yeah, he's a dope artist, man. Word. So you have that coming in 2022. Explain to me, again, man. I'm going back to H2O and how he gathered all of you guys. How you guys are kind of meshing like that, man, as one for Miami hip hop. I mean, that doesn't always happen where we have a bunch of individuals, man, that come together and like they become like the Transformers, if you will. Right. And work well together. Explain that, man. How did he do that?
What's funny about that is like this shit is literally 20 years in the making. Because you would have, if you would have came to Miami 10, 15 years ago, everybody wasn't rocking with each other like that. I've known H2O for the whole time, you know what I'm saying? But there was a time where my crew and his crew were rivals. We used to battle each other all the time, you know what I'm saying? And there was like a lot of different cliques in Miami that kind of didn't fuck with each other. Can I curse?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, they didn't fuck with each other. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we didn't fuck with H2O's clique and they didn't fuck with us. And I think after a little while we started realizing like, H2O started like throwing events and having us perform. Then he threw my album release party back in 2012. And little by little we've been forging this relationship, man. And the same way that it's been with me and H, it's been the same with me and a bunch of other people in the hip hop scene. So it just feels like the last few years, everybody's been kind of coming together now. And, we kind of figured out like, we're a little stronger as a whole than we are individually. So it's beautiful to see for anybody that's came up in the Miami hip hop scene, seeing a bunch of cats now that didn't fuck with each other back in the day, making moves together now is a beautiful thing to see, bro.
Yeah, no, definitely, man, definitely. And it seems that everybody that's in that crew, man, can really spit, right? Is this something where you guys, where it's like, steel sharpening steel, kind of, my next rhyme has to be, at this level because this guy is doing this type of thing?
Absolutely. I think everybody's a reflection of their environment. You know what I'm saying? And if you're coming up and you know that there's a bunch of wolves right behind you, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to sharpen your shit, So, yeah, definitely, man. Steel sharpen steel. Shout out to everybody. I don't even want to start naming names because there's so many dope motherfuckers out here. But, bro, shout out to everybody, man, because, like, really, I was out of the game. I hadn't dropped music in a good, like, 5-6 years. You know what I'm saying? And actually H2O and the homie Orion last year, at the end of the year, they threw an event called Kendall versus Hialeah. Those are two different hoods in Miami.
Right.
I'm a Kendall guy, you know what I'm saying? And because of that event, it kind of like reignited the fire, you know what I mean? And it led to songs like Kendall Drive and even this whole Moskvitch project. I stopped fucking with rap completely. I was doing like movies and other shit, and that Kendall Hialeah thing like really put me back in the fold, like in a major way. I feel like real passionate about rap again. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So yeah, I always give shout out to H, man, and shout out to Orion too. I've been to a lot of places because of hip hop, but I think there was two things. One, there's only so much heartbreak that you could take. You know what I'm saying? And it's like
I got you.
Knowing that you're dope, and I say that in the least cocky way possible. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like I put my 10,000 hours in, and you know what I'm saying? Like I know I'm a dope MC. You know what I'm saying? So like knowing that you're dope, and not seeing like the results of that shit gets a little disheartening. You know what I'm saying? So I just felt like I needed to take a step away and just reassess. And also I wanted to challenge myself creatively, because I've been rapping for so long, bro, that it's kind of like second nature to me already. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to start getting into some other shit that I like, because I consider myself a writer, not just an MC. You know what I mean? Like I write scripts and I do a lot of other things. So I think I wanted to challenge myself with something that I don't have my 10,000 hours in script writing or comic book writing and shit like that. So I kind of wanted to delve into that a little bit.
Okay. No, that's cool. Now that you're back, how long have you been back and into it, in the fold, as far as hip hop is concerned, and what motivates you to keep going? Knowing that you took a step back, in the past. What motivates you to keep going?
Bro, honestly, I stopped giving a fuck about the results. You know what I'm saying? I stopped giving a fuck about the results, and I'm more about the process right now, and just enjoying it and appreciating it. You know what I'm saying? Appreciating like this gift. Not everyone is lucky enough to have something that they love to do. You know what I'm saying? And something that they're good at and shit. So I think it's like, I stopped taking that shit for granted. And I think that's what keeps me going. You know what I mean? I feel like this is something that it's almost like, not to sound like a hippie, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like there's like a higher power calling me to do this shit. You know what I'm saying? So like sometimes you just gotta pick up the phone, sometimes you gotta pick up, you gotta be there, So yeah, man, I'm just inspired lately. I can't really explain it. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like it's something I have to do. So I'm rolling with it.
Right. Now let's talk about your other attributes, man, skills, if you will. Now you say you write scripts and you also write comic books. What type of comic books have you written, man? Are they published already? Are you selling them? What's going on with them?
Yeah, we self-published a comic book. It's 2 issues. It's called Popova. It's basically about a group of abused women who band together and they start, assassinating abusive men. You know what I'm saying? So there's like a bunch of women who are abuse victims that are kind of fighting back against the patriarchy. And we kind of just like explore like the in and outs of that, like what does it really mean to be, a feminist? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? You know what I'm saying? We try to ask all the tough questions. And there's, it's also a dope action story if that's what you're looking for too. You don't got to delve too deep into it. If all you want is like a surface kind of like crime drama action story, that's there for you too. You know what I mean? So it's called Popova, Popova.
Wow, no, that's good stuff. Now, is this something that you were into as a kid? I mean, how did I'm assuming you were doing that as a kid, right? Because you don't just pick that up later on in life, I don't believe. But explain, is that something that you were doing earlier in life?
I mean, I like comic books, but more I studied screenwriting in college and shit. That's what that's what I studied. So I have a passion for writing. I didn't necessarily have a passion for comic book writing, but the project Popova initially started as a screenplay, and we were going to try to make it ourselves. And then we just realized it was going to be way too expensive to try to make it. So we're like, let's figure out a way that we can still put this story out because we believe in the story. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's a little less expensive to make and shit. So we kind of settled on a comic book. But then I had to climb the mountain of like figuring out how to write a comic book because it's not the same. So we had to take that screenplay and adapt it into a comic. And that was a lot. That was a lot more work than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
Yeah. But
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was going to say the comic is available on Comixology. That's like basically the iTunes for digital comics. It's an Amazon company. So just look it up there. Issues 1 and 2 are out. We're sold out of physical copies, but there might be a reprint next year in 2022.
Now that sounds like it went successfully then.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we didn't print, thousands and thousands, but the ones that we did print, thankfully we sold out, and we hit a bunch of Comic Cons and stuff, and got some pretty good feedback.
Oh, that's good stuff, man. Now speaking of writing, what is your process? Your writing process, because as you mentioned earlier, the writing isn't easy, man. The stuff is difficult. And I respect what guys like you do, especially when you write something that means something and it's it's meaningful and it makes sense. Explain your writing style. How do you approach that?
Yeah, I don't like for this Moskvitch project, and I guess I would say since I picked the mic back up again, like I try not to put too much emphasis on the technicality of the rhyming. I feel like I've been doing it long enough that the technical aspect is just going to come. But I'm just a lot more focused on like more heart and less brain on the writing. You know what I'm saying? I tend to lean more intellectual when I write, like, and I kind of I didn't want to overthink it this time. You know what I'm saying? So like my process now is, bro, I put on a beat, I smoke a blunt, and I just kind of pace around the room until I got it. And then I just put it down. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't write the shit down. I try not to think too much about it. I just kind of, I go with my gut instinct. You know what I mean?
Right. Now you said you went to college and you studied, is it film writing?
I studied screenwriting. Yeah.
Screenwriting. I'm sorry. Screenwriting. Yeah. And it just going back, man, is that something you were doing earlier, that you were a good writer as a young kid and you wrote poetry and then you started into hip hop? How did you make your trek into and through to the point where you are now?
Yeah, I was writing when I was a kid. I used to write short stories, like in like second, third grade. You know how like most kids would have notebooks that they would draw in. I had a notebook full of like 1-page stories. You know what I'm saying? Like it was crazy. And that was like in second, third grade before I had even heard a hip hop song. I didn't even know what hip hop was. So I think I was a storyteller first, and then like funny enough, the first hip hop song I heard was Fresh Prince, Parents Just Don't Understand, which is kind of like a story track. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So, and when I was a kid, I remember hearing that song and thinking like, yo, I could do that. Because he's telling the story. All he's doing is rhyming the last word. Like, I remember thinking I could do that and shit. So I knew early on that I could probably do this rap shit, you know?
Right. Now that's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. And speaking of story and storytelling, that that Kendall Drive track is a storytelling track. Talk to me about the Kendall Drive track.
I think what's funny about that track is it wasn't even originally intended to be a song about Kendall. Again, like Kendall's the hood where I grew up in here in Miami. But like I think, once I heard the beat, I just wanted to tell a story of what it was like to grow up in my era and like being where I'm from. And once I had finished writing it, it turned out to be like, okay, this song is about the experiences of a Kendall kid. You know what I'm saying? And it just turned out that way. It's not something that I set out to do. I didn't try to write a Kendall Drive track, but it just kind of, again, I wasn't overthinking it. And it kind of just turned out that way. But that's like TeV that's one of TeV's favorite songs on the album. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's because of the honesty, because anybody that's from Kendall knows the references that I'm making. If you're from my era, like, all the shit I'm talking about, like Fatland and Don Carter's and all that shit. Like, exactly what I'm talking about. If you're from Kendall, from my era,
Right. We spoke to King Tetris. He was saying the same thing about one of his tracks on that he released as well. Like if you're a Miami guy, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I love that, man, because it gives people an opportunity to learn about places where they haven't been, right?
Right.
And guys like you, writing these songs, they get a glimpse of what it's like in Miami, in certain sections of Miami. So I appreciate those songs, man.
Yeah, 100%. Like if you think about it, we didn't know nothing about Compton until NWA came out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they probably thought like, oh, nobody's going to understand this. But I think what connects people is not so much the details, but the authenticity. You know what I mean? like you listen to Straight Outta Compton and you could tell that they're telling the truth. And that's I think the part that connects to people,
Right. The being truthful, man. Being true and not making something, out of nothing, right? Or not making something out of nothing, but making stuff up.
Right.
People can usually you can tell if someone's telling the truth or not, right? Most time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's wild, man. Again, the whole scene that you guys have right now in Miami, man, is crazy, man, and we've enjoyed talking to you guys, man. Hopefully we can talk to you guys again, but it's just it's a bunch of real hip hop, man. You know what I mean? Just that boom bap, like like your EP. That stuff was kind of jazzy, kind of. It has some piano riffs in some of those songs, a bunch of horns. I mean, it was like if you take the drum away from it, you could probably sit in a cigar bar and just smoke, man, and relax, right?
Yeah,
I mean, the production is cool on that EP.
Yeah, thank you, man. That's TeV, bro. TeV's a genius, man. I tell people, like, I've worked with a lot of dope producers, but for some reason I listen to TeV's beats and the words just come out. You know what I'm saying? It's different when I listen to TeV shit. It's like, I connect with his beats and shit, man. So shout out to TeV. Like, this Moskvitch shit wouldn't even be anything if it wasn't for TeV95. So I always shout out the homie.
Nah, good stuff. Hey, where can people reach you, man, online if they're interested in hearing more music? I know the EP is on Bandcamp and maybe other places, but where can they reach out to you and listen to your music?
Yeah, you can find Shottie on all streaming platforms. We're on Apple Music, Spotify. Definitely, when you find us on the streaming platform, follow us. You know what I'm saying? Because that's big. We need them followers. You know what I mean?
Right.
Follow 95 Labs on YouTube. We got all the videos up on there, and also all the other shit that TeV and I have done in the past, and also work that TeV's done with a lot of other dope artists on the 95 Labs, kind of like on the roster and shit like that. So look us up there on Twitter. I'm Shottie Music. On Instagram, I'm Shottie ID4. That's Shottie IDEE and the number 4. ID4 is my old rap group and shit. Yeah, man. Look up the kid, man. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of shit up and we got a lot more shit coming. You know what I'm saying? So it's exciting, bro. I'm excited for all the shit that we got cooking. And Moskvitch 3 is if y'all like 1 and 2, I'm telling you, three might be the best one, bro. 3 might be the best one. So yeah, let's you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Well, I'm just getting on here at the second level, so I'm gonna have to go back and listen to the first one. But
definitely check out part 1. Yeah, definitely check out part 1. Yeah.
I like part 2, man. Part 2 is nice. I like part 2.
Appreciate it.
So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to go and listen to part 1.
For sure, man. Yeah, there's a couple gems on there. You know what I mean? Like definitely.
Yeah, yeah, nah, definitely. Hey, Shottie, well, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you spending some time with us. We'll connect again, hopefully. Maybe at the top of the year with the part 3 coming, and get a chance to talk to you, man. See what's going on.
Yo, definitely, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to SpitFireHipHop. You know what I'm saying? It's an honor. You know what I mean? And I'm just like I'm humbled, and I'm just glad that people, you know what I'm saying, are paying attention, man. So big shout out to you. Thank you for you know what I'm saying, giving me space on your platform. I appreciate you, man. Bye.